How you doing? Welcome to the Golf Shack. I'm joined by James Savage, equipment editor of National Club Golfer magazine, and we are looking at a couple of Ping golf clubs today, James.
We are, yeah. The new Ping i200 irons have just been released. Hopefully you've already seen our first impressions video where our editor Dan Murphy's given his sort of like review on these, how they perform. But it's always nice to compare, the new product with the product that it's replacing, just to see, just to see what Ping have done and what changes they've made. So I think this will be a really interesting one to get Dan hitting both these clubs and see how they perform.
Definitely, yeah. Dan's a solid player as well, isn't he?
He's all right.
Yeah, strikes it solid.
Yeah, no, he swings it very nicely, very consistent.
Yeah.
Hits it. I'd say, sort of. Probably getting towards tour average, I'd say, for distance.
Good lad. All right then. Okay, should we go and see how he gets on?
Let's have a look at Dan in action. Yeah.
Okay.
So Dan, just to get us going for this comparison, we've got your current gamer i7 is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I've been using these on and off since August 2015. These have got PXI 6.0, it's a shaft I'm very used to. Probably this shaft's a little bit soft, a little bit light for me, but I quite like it because I don't have to work too hard to hit it. So yeah, very familiar with this setup, but it's a little bit different to what I've got in the new model.
And what has it been about the i that you really liked that obviously has kept them in the bag for the best part of 18 months?
Well, I'm a good person to ask that question to, because at various times in the last 12 months or so, I've had a dalliance with G, and I've also been using iBlade for the last few months. So I've had all three of the four current Ping iron sets in the bag, and they all have their merits. But I guess if you said it was a long-term test, I can see that there's a reason why I really is the best fit for me. So when I use G, they just go a bit high, and then the short irons are just that little bit large in the head. You don't feel quite as precise with them. And then when I go into iBlade, as much as I love the look of them, and they're really good, but they're just probably maybe 4 or 5 yards shorter than with I, and the dispersion tends to just separate off, so those bad shots come out of the air that bit quicker, or I might get a spinny one. So really, apart from vanity and chipping, I suppose they're really nice to use around the greens. This is a better iron for me.
Yeah, so you've had a sort of slight identity crisis with your irons at various points. Well, because you were like an S55 player as well. Have you ever been in S as well?
I have at various times. Yeah. To be honest, I'd settled into iron. Then when I hit G for the first time last year, I thought they were so good and they looked so much better than previous Gs. I thought, why not see what they do? And when I was hitting them at launch out in the States, those high soaring shots, not a problem. And when you're playing on those American fairways where there's a little bit of give under the ball, the lies aren't tight at all. So the slightly bigger soles that you get on G just weren't an issue at all. Yeah. And if I lived in Florida, then I think I'd probably just play G and just have done. But suddenly when you come home, you've got tighter lies, so you can see there's a bit of gap between the leading edge and the ground. And the ball's going a little bit too high.
If it's windy, it's not really what you want. Yeah.
And I was just finding that I was getting some huge. I was like flying greens sometimes when one got up down the wind. Yeah. And then similarly, you get the other one that would balloon. So for me, it was just impractical. And that's really why I made the change.
And I guess for you, give you more like best of both worlds, a little bit more control, still got some forgiveness, still got good distance.
It's ultimately this is the compromise iron. So for out and out forgiveness and for distance, I'm going to go in G all day long. And if I want an iron that I feel I can control, and especially an iron that's really nice to chip with and hit those half shots with, and obviously has the bag appeal, and probably on the best shots is the nicest club to use. I'm going to use iBlade, and this one is somewhere in the middle. But I think they improve the looks of these so much, and especially in the new model, that to me it becomes increasingly difficult to justify why you would carry an iBlade.
Fair enough. Right, let's hit some shots then. So we've seen. From previous videos before, your own 7 iron numbers, you're looking around about 165, is that right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, that's not too bad at all. That one's flighted, I'd say probably about 15 yards higher than the first one.
Yeah, that was a better shot, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, spin got up to kept it in the air, 165. So that's probably like your ideal shot there.
I just feel that there's not quite as much zip in these as the new ones, which is interesting. The strike's not quite as crisp.
Right.
Give me one more to.
Yeah, no.
Well, I've hit enough solid ones.
Yeah, that's fine. Fairly consistent. That's a good strike. The difference in sound between the not great strikes and the good strikes are so instantly recognisable. I guess from the player's point of view, the feel as well just would feel 100% different.
Yeah, and I'm really not looking to gain 7 or 8 yards. Like, I've been round the block often enough to know that as seductive as it is when you try a new iron, if it goes further, that's not really what it's about. It's about dispersion and grouping and feel and consistency, really.
Yeah, I mean that front to back dispersion with irons is huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you're out on you've got your your laser, you zap the pin, you want to trust that club's right. You don't want to have a fear that it could go obviously like with the G's. Like, I guess that's exactly what you found. You just don't want to be unsure, like this could fly over the back of the green. So.
Yeah, the thing about those G's, it wasn't, you think, oh, I'm going to get flyers. It wasn't so much flyers, it was just the fact that we very rarely play in this country without any wind at all. And as soon as there was some breeze, the ball was in the air for so long that I just felt I was at the mercy of it. And I was sort of guessing, but I really feared when I was going down breeze, I was hitting some really silly shots, like 7 irons that were going nearly 200 yards in the air. And I can't control that, so that's really dangerous.
Yeah, cool. Well, hand that back. Let's get the i200 out to hit another 5 shots with those. 7 iron again, and we can see those numbers. See, I think when you hit the good shots there with the eye, you were getting the numbers that you'd expect. That sort of 164, 165. But it'll be interesting to see with the new club whether on the good strikes that carry goes up at all, and we can keep a note of the spin numbers as well. That has gone considerably higher than any of the shots you hit with the eye. You mentioned that the sound and feel on those. Do you feel it slightly a bit crisper than on the irons?
Feels like that to me, yeah. One more? Enough?
Yep, stick one more. We weren't quite sure where Ping were going to go with the whole numbering system and that, were we, when they first brought out the I, because we didn't know whether this had I and it had like the E1 written on there, so we didn't know whether there was going to be like an E2, and we were a little bit unsure, but now we know this is the way they're going with it.
Yeah, I was very surprised. Yeah, I was led to believe that it was going to be the I series and I'm just going to number them 2 upwards. So yeah, I don't actually quite know where 200's come from.
Okay. Okay, shall we have a sit down and look at some of those numbers and see how the I performed compared to the i200?
Okay.
Okay then, Dan, so let's have a look at the TrackMan numbers after you've been striping those 7 irons. How do you think they performed?
Well, it felt to me like the new i200 was just that little bit more crisp. Just felt like there was a nice impact feel to it. You're never going to expect anything enormous because I'm using the most recent model that's been custom fitted that I've been using for on and off for 18 months, and obviously the i200 absolutely brand new. It's the first time I ever hit it today. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. Oh, and you can see there your ball speed is a little bit up on the new i200 compared to the clubhead speed, which is good. So you're going to get a better smash factor. So that's probably why it felt like it was a bit more fun off the face. One thing you were talking to me about was the height. of the shot? You're looking to try and get the ball flight down, a little bit more controlled. The spin, you always felt like the spin was getting away from you on the I series.
Yeah, I'd say spin is definitely my enemy, and generally you associate shots going high. With more spin, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I mean, if we look at the heads there, I mean, I always think the eye looks like it's gonna launch it higher and it's gonna spin a little bit more. But if you look at the numbers there, launch angle is a little bit down, but the spin was very high, wasn't it, on the shots that you hit?
Yeah.
But then we got you into the i200. So you've had a fitting on this with the Modus shaft.
Yeah.
That's really controlled your spin. It was under 6,000, so it's done the job there. But surprisingly, you were launching it a little bit higher.
Yeah.
So a nice American golf shot there, launch it high and spin it low.
Yeah.
But maybe not quite what you're looking for just yet. You maybe want to tweak a little bit to do there. But we were having a look at the lofts on the clubs. You were saying that it's a little bit weaker?
Yes, well actually on 7 iron it's just fractionally weaker, so it is half a degree, I think it is. Sorry, it's 1 full degree weaker on i200. So I guess that is another contributing factor perhaps on the on the launch there. Quite an unusual thing, isn't it? In irons these days.
Nowadays, I mean everything seems to be like 2 or 3 degrees stronger, doesn't it? So it's all about distance. But yeah, you mean you're getting more distance with a weaker loft, so that's a pretty hot product then, the i200.
Yeah.
Okay, looks good. Happy with that one?
Really happy, yeah. Looking forward to using those properly out on the course.
Great stuff, all right. Hope you've enjoyed that video and we'll see you again soon. I hope you enjoyed that video. Look out for more videos at the Golf Shack Academy. Like us on Facebook, send us a tweet, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.